Good morning, friends, and welcome to the pre-market view. We've seen weakness across the global markets. In US markets, we're down about 0.22 to almost about 0.33%. Now, the market is just trying to adjust to the possible tapering, the extent of that and the timing of that, and to a great extent there is a feel that it has already been adjusted in the bond yields, which have really spiked up to almost about 2.83 odd levels from about 2.6. But there could be some volatility when the actual announcement is made by the Fed. The rest of the economic data points are not going to be that relevant at this point of time because we've seen some recovery in the job report, and most of the other data points have been by and large good. Talking about the European markets, they were two down about 1% or thereabouts. No major data points coming out from Eurozone. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, most of the markets are down about 0.5% to almost about 0.77%. Nikkei in particular is down almost about 0.56%, though some of the data points that came out today morning were better than market expectations. But the fact that the yen has actually appreciated against the dollar, and now currently it's quoting at about 102.77, so which is what is causing some weakness in the export oriented companies in Japan. And SGX Nifty is also suggesting that we are going to open down with a gap of almost about 25 to 30 points. Back home in terms of flows, friends, FIs were net biased in the cash market to the tune of almost about 400 crore, and in the index future also they were biased to the tune of almost about 180 odd crore. But the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 684 crore. Our markets, after a smart pop-up that we saw after the election outcome, hasn't really been able to sustain that up move, and we have seen weakness in the last 2 days, led by the banks and the infrastructure pack, which had seen the maximum up move in the past few days. But there is a general sense that probably we might cool off for the next couple of days, but the overall strength in the market is clearly visible. The flows are pretty much intact, and the fact that the market has touched all-time high could bring back some retail participation, which has been missing all through last about 2 to 3 years. So the overall bias in the market is positive. We might cool off for next couple of days, maybe around 6200 or thereabouts. You could see some support for the market. On that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues and ideas that we can have from the F&O side.
Good morning, friends. Let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, yesterday we have seen that the markets have given up gains of the previous trading session, but it traded in a narrow range in a negative terrain. Now, in yesterday's trade, friends, we've seen that some long positions were accumulated by market participants, and also the PCR ratio has shot up from 0.97 to 1.01, as we have seen unwinding taking place on the call side, and we have seen that some marginal additions have taken place on the put side, which is clearly visible in the strikes of 6,400 and 500 call option. But this, in spite of unwinding taking place, we have seen that this two strike stands with highest number of shares in open interest. Whereas if we have a look on the put side, 6,200 put option has seen some unwinding, but we have seen some we have seen some addition taking place in strikes of 6,100 and 6,300 put option. Friends, 6250 is a weekly VWAP, but as per the current market scenario, 6280 is the support which we feel on closing basis might be an important level to watch on. And from intraday perspective, 6330 on Nifty would be a good support, and the resistance area would be 6375. Now, in yesterday's trade, we have seen that the FIs in futures and option segment were net sellers, and as a bias for the market is positive, there are no negative news across the globe or say no trigger points across the globe. We feel that any dip in the market can be taken as an opportunity to go long. From intraday perspective, Lupin is looking good, so one can buy this stock with stop loss of 866 rupees 25 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, we are going to see the trade gap data being released at about 11 a.m. and given the fact that in the last about few months we've seen some improvement in the trade data, which has impacted the rupee positively, so this is going to be an important thing that we shall be watching out for. Power Grid has set a price of about 90 for the FPO, a huge response both from retail and HNIs and institutional investors. And retail investors will get the shares at about 4.5 rupees discount, so around 85.50. Crompton Greaves could sell or shut the Canadian unit because of the kind of restructuring that is undergoing there, which is definitely a bit of a positive for Crompton. Government has decided to go ahead with an auction route for the sale of the remaining stake of Hindustan Zinc. Remember friends that the government is holding about 29.5% stake in Hindustan Zinc and is likely to fetch about 15,000 to 20,000 crore if it is successfully done over the next couple of months. In another important development, the Heineken, which is the largest Dutch brand in the beer market, has emerged as the largest shareholders in United Breweries. And it has taken up about 1.35% stake, which was offloaded by Vijay Mallya. Reliance Industries and France's Dassault Aviation have decided to set up a facility to produce wings of Rafale combat aircraft, which is selected by IAF for meeting its requirements of 126 fighter planes. The two firms are looking at investing about 1,000 crore into this facility. Coming to the stock specific ideas, Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel could ink an important tie-up for sharing of the fiber optic network and other infrastructure. So one can go long on Bharti with a stop loss of 329 and a target of about 347 to about 355. Coal India, some negative news as the Competition Commission of India has imposed a fine of almost about 1773 crore on Coal India after its subsidiaries have been indicated to be abusing their dominant position as suppliers of non-coking coal. So one can short Coal India with a stop loss of 292 and a target of about 277 to about 271. That's it from all of us friends. Have a good trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.